Hello my gems and welcome back to my channel. I am going to really open up to you guys today and just share with you a story or like something that's happened to me in my life that's really close to my heart. I know that its story is personal and I hope you guys can really take something from this, whether you've been in this situation or you know someone who has been in this situation. Today I'm going to talk about my miscarriage. I'll start from the beginning. I met my husband in 2016 and we started dating in June 2017. We got engaged in September or like earlier than that, and then we got married November 25th, 2017. We had been married for a whole year before we fell pregnant, and we didn't even know until the beginning of this year that I was pregnant. And I fell pregnant around the end of December. By the time I found out, I was already 6 weeks pregnant, and we had gone in for an ultrasound and we had seen a heartbeat. And for any mother who knows, this was like one of the best things that has ever happened to me. And I was literally so over the moon when I had seen my baby's heartbeat for the first time and I found out that I was pregnant. Didn't expect that I would be the one to have a miscarriage. I don't think any of us who get married and plan to have children think that they would ever go through such a traumatizing event in their life. I was preparing to go in for another scan a few weeks later that I was worried. I had gone to the doctors prior to that and I had told my doctor that I had some bleeding, and she told me that if it is light bleeding, that's normal, that's what they call spotting, but if it's heavy with clots in it, that I may be having a miscarriage, and that if it is a miscarriage, that once it started, that they cannot do anything to stop it. I felt so crap about myself. I was struggling. I went in for my next scan and I literally, my heart was beating, and I went to go see my gynecologist and she did another scan on me. And while she was scanning, I just remember lying there and praying and hoping that everything will be fine with my baby, because she was taking so long to tell me about the actual how my baby was doing and if there was a heartbeat. Then finally she stopped and she said to me, "I'm so sorry, but there's no heartbeat." And I just remember feeling not in my body. I couldn't believe it, and I was so embarrassed to cry that I cried a little in the office. And then I remember turning to my husband and he said to me, "It's okay, everything's gonna be okay." And I just stopped crying for a bit, but as soon as we left the office and we went into the elevator, I just started bawling. Growing up, you don't think that this would happen to you, or no one prepares you if like this kind of things happen. No one even like shares their miscarriage stories with you. Everyone just, I feel like everyone's ashamed of it, and I don't know why. I honestly do not know why. Why we have to, as women, be ashamed of the things that we go through. That we feel like we are imperfect if we cannot have kids. Why do we put so much pressure on women to be, giving them the idea that if they don't have kids, they're not perfect? I do not understand that kind of culture. Now that I've gone through it myself, I really don't understand what the purpose of it is. being perfect doesn't mean that you have to have children. I was distraught, and I had recently, so in February, I recently got a job at a high school that I was going to work as a teacher's assistant. I was studying full-time as well, my cert for in education support, when I was going through this. And I tell you now that it was so hard. I literally just quit my job, I quit my schooling, I quit literally everything. I was so lucky that my husband, which I'm so grateful for, he let me quit everything in my life, my job, my education, to just take time out for me. And I will always be grateful for him. I know it's not easy to provide, and I know that it's a big deal, you know, everything that we go through. And I'm so grateful for that opportunity that he gave me to grieve. And he gave me something special where I was able to find myself again. I am able to be myself again. He's given me time to really reflect on life and to look at things a different way, because in all honesty, I was angry for a very long time, and I don't think anyone who goes through this wouldn't be angry. I was angry, I was upset, I was blaming myself, and I'm so grateful that my husband was so strong for me emotionally and financially to help me build myself back up again. After they told me that I had miscarried, I was literally in the hospital for a whole day getting blood work done. The doctors were coming in and out, and I remember that one of the nurses said to me, "Oh, how come you're in here?" And I said, "Oh, I had a miscarriage." And she said to me, "Oh, how far along were you?" And I told her, and she said to me, "Oh, don't worry, it's not a baby yet." And that really got to me. The fact that another woman can stand there heartlessly, look at another woman going through this and say that it was nothing. Maybe for people who don't want children, for people who don't appreciate that they can have children, will say stupid things like that. But I was so angry that that lady stood there and said that to me. And I remember when she walked off, because I was still in shock about everything going on, I literally turned to my husband and I started bawling, and I said to him, "How dare she come to me and say that to me?" I was so angry, like overboard angry. And my husband was just, you know, comforting me and calming me down. And so finally my doctor comes back and he tells me that I can either naturally continue to miscarry or to have a D&C, and I chose to have the D&C operation because I know that with myself I wouldn't be able to sit at home knowing that my baby is still dead inside of me, and for my body to naturally just eject my baby, and I couldn't sit at home and do that. That was too much for me. So in saying that, I was booked in 2 days later to have a D&C, and it was literally the day after Valentine's Day that I went in for my operation. So husband took me out for Valentine's Day, but it was one of the hardest things for me because I was still grieving. I was still in shock, and it was so hard for me to want to go out and do something. But you know, I know it was good for me because it got my mind off things and I wasn't really concentrating on it. But the next day came and I went in at 9:30 to the hospital to do my operation, and it was the hardest thing to just wait in the waiting room for my turn to go up and for my name to be called, for me to go in. And the hardest thing about the D&C was that my husband couldn't come in to the operation room, so while I was waiting for them to operate on me, I was literally sitting in the theater crying by myself, just praying that things would get better. I know that secretly it's taking a toll on my husband as well. It was like the hardest thing, and it was so hard to go in, sleep straight away on the operation table, and then to wake up by myself again. So as soon as I woke up in the recovery room, I quickly asked for my husband, and so when I woke up they pushed me over to where my husband was, and I literally just cleaned up, got changed, and I left the hospital. And I just remember leaving and thinking to myself, like, is this true? Like, was I really pregnant? Did I really go through this? Am I making this up? It was crazy because I was feeling like really crazy, you know. I didn't feel like it was real. I literally thought that it was like fake, and that I was making this up, and that I was crazy for making this up, and I was blaming myself. I hated myself for so long. I literally just shut off from other things slowly. So I started to, like, not really, but I didn't really want to speak to much people. There were only certain people that I would like to speak to. I'm so grateful for my husband and all the love that he's given me. And with miscarriage, I think people need to know that, one, it's more common than we think, happens to many women, and that's where it got me the most. Like, I don't understand that it happens to so many women, but yet I hardly heard about it from anybody. Two, it's okay to acknowledge your baby. I know a lot of times people don't talk about it because they think that they're not a parent, or they're not, like, it doesn't make them or put them in that parent category. But I think that that's wrong. I think that it's not correct, and I think that you are still a parent no matter what. So unless you've gone through it, you don't get a say in whether someone is or isn't a parent. If you have gone through it and you don't want to call yourself a parent, then don't call yourself a parent. But if you have gone through it and you do want to call yourself a parent, then do it, because you don't have to explain yourself to anyone. And I hate that in the Tongan culture that a lot of people think that once you miscarriage, or the Polynesian culture in general, that people think that it's, oh, she did something wrong, or there's something wrong with her, maybe that's why she miscarried, or there's something wrong with her, maybe that's why she hasn't had a baby yet. There's too much pressure on this baby thing. Like, let people live their lives. Let people have children when they want to have children, or when they can have children. It's none of your damn business when people have babies. And, like, be considerate about other people's feelings. You know, like, I don't think people really understand. I remember people telling me, like, it's okay, or now we know you can have a baby, or it's okay, you're still young, you can still have a baby. Yeah, it's okay. But don't be so insensitive to say those kind of things, because it still hurts. You know, to lose a baby, it still hurts. It's not okay for people to just brush it off like it's nothing. You know, and I, for one, will not act like it was nothing, and I won't brush it off like it was a minor thing. And I will always hold it close to my heart, because it's something sacred to me. That's still my baby. And the weirdest thing is that I still had changes in my body, and the worst feeling was that feeling of your body just changing back again. I think people just really need to be mindful and careful on what they say around other people who deal with these kind of things, you know. I think one of the things that I really used to help cope with my miscarriage was that I named my baby. And I named my baby because it meant a lot to me, and it gave me a lot of peace, knowing that my baby won't be left out. And there's nothing wrong with naming your baby. even if you miscarry in the earlier stages. And my baby will always have a place in my family. Whether or not we speak about her, but she will always be in my heart. All honesty, I know there's like, you know, pressure. I remember going through what I was going through, and it's been 5 months since February 15th when I got my D&C, and I still get sad. I still get sad some days. There's some weeks where I'm fine the whole week, and then all of a sudden I will bawl my eyes out for no reason. And it's okay. There's no right way to grieve. You grieve the way you want to grieve, and don't let anyone tell you how to grieve or anyone tell you that that's enough now. You grieve the way you want to grieve, because once you do that, you can pick yourself back up and keep pushing forward. You know, and everybody's different. No one is the same. You know, I had to quit my job. I felt like I needed to quit my job and quit school, so I did it. For other people, maybe taking a week or 2 off will suffice for that time. For other people, maybe going back to work the next day would be good for them. But like, you grieve the way you want to grieve, and don't let people tell you how to, because I remember going through what I was going through. You know, people saying, oh, you know, it's okay, you'll have another one, and or people like saying like in a very subtle way telling me to get over it, when in reality it's like, this is my reality, it is not your reality, so don't tell me how to feel right now. And that's the hardest thing, because people want the best for you, especially your family in your life. They want the best for you, but if they love you, they will have to understand that when you're ready, you're ready. People that just know people that are going through infertility, like, or who have miscarried, or who have had you know, people with stillborns, honestly stop. And this is mainly for the Polynesian people that I understand. In our culture, it's like, maybe there's something wrong with her. Stop it. There is nothing wrong with that person, that woman, that lady, that daughter, that wife. There is nothing wrong with her. This has nothing to do with her. You know, it's the worst when the people, our Polynesian people, say, oh, maybe she did something wrong in her past, that's why she can't have kids, or maybe she did this and that. No, there is nothing to say those things, so stop it. I think people need to stop being in other people's businesses. If you cannot love that person, then honestly you have no say in their lives. You have no say, period, because you are not going through it. You know, it's the worst when women are bringing down other women. We need to empower each other, we need to love each other, we need to really embrace each other, especially in the most hardest times. And I hope that you guys really do that. You know, we need to be more mindful and more careful about what we say and how we say things to other women who are struggling with infertility. So what, you've known them for all your life, but don't go around asking them, oh, when are you gonna have a baby? It's already been 3 years, it's already been 2 years. That's none of your business. Say hi, say bye, conversate with them about their week, but don't feel like you can just go up to people, women like that, and just talk to them like that. It's not nice. It's not a nice feeling. And in the long run, it's funny because I never knew this until I got married, that it's annoying. It's annoying when people constantly say those kind of things or make those kind of comments. In reality, there's people that are happy who don't have children at all. People are happy who have heaps of children, and people who there are many people out there who are happy that have adopted children, foster children, you know, people that they care for. So in saying that, like, it's funny because these are things that everybody, like most Polynesian women, go through in their lifetime as a married woman. You know, when are you gonna have a baby? Go check yourself at the doctors. Did you check yourself? Are you okay? Like, do you need to lose weight or something, like you have no say in what goes on in that person's marriage. And I'm saying this out of love because I've heard it too many times, not just from my experience, but from many other Polynesian women that I associate with. It's not nice and people don't like it in all honesty. I'm so grateful for my loving family, especially for my husband. I'm so grateful for my parents who have literally helped me so much before I even came to this crossroad. I'm so grateful for my siblings, especially for my sister's kids. Around the time that I had miscarried, she had just had her twins, and those babies gave me life. And I was able to take my mind off things for a while, and you know, because at that time I was living in this granny flat on top of my sister's house, and I think it was good timing that I moved there because I really needed my sisters around me, especially because my husband went back to work the next day, and my sisters really helped me so much. They let me grieve the way I wanted to grieve. They let me be the way I wanted to be, and I'm so grateful, and I love my sister's kids so much. She'll give the love that I could give my baby if she was still here with me, you know. So I'm so grateful for all the people in my life, my sister-in-laws, for everything they do, like all my in-laws, for everything that they do for us. You know, miscarriage is a hard thing. It's not an easy thing. And I will not suffer in silence about it. And I feel like other women shouldn't suffer in silence about it. Miscarriage is not a weird thing. It's more common than it actually is made out to be. There are many people out there who go through miscarriage and who can understand what we are going through. I just hope you guys understand, for those that are watching and who have miscarried, that there is nothing wrong with you, and you are beautiful and perfect the way you are, and that it is not your fault. And that brighter days are ahead of us. This is not the end of this. We come out stronger for the things that we go through. Please guys, just be mindful and respectful to other people that are going through infertility or miscarriage or stillborns, and just make sure that what you say and how you say it is with love and not out of curiosity for things that you have no business in. I'm so grateful for my mom, who's the biggest role model in my life. She had 9 of us but had 2 miscarriages, and my sister before me passed away at 10 months, so she is my inspiration. Mom is my biggest inspiration. This is my story. And I cried so much in it. Oh my gosh, I didn't even expect to cry like this. Freaking so emotional. Anyways, thanks my jams for watching, and stay tuned for my next video. Love yous, and baby dusk to all of yous who are trying.